Chairperson, stage is yours.
Say again.
Chairperson, Dennis, stage is yours.
Actually, Sergey, do what you just did because what you said earlier is exactly what I would say if I was paying attention. So, Sergey, repeat your very informative housekeeping message, and then I'll follow up with something clever.
Okay, I just mentioned that I'd like to go over, yeah, that Dennis said, like housekeeping rules, a few housekeeping rules. So please keep your microphone muted unless you're speaking to avoid background noise. We encourage you to keep your camera on for better engagement. Of course, feel free to use the chat for comments or questions. So, of course, you're welcome to express your reactions both physically and using Zoom emojis, like Martina do. So, please let others finish speaking before you jump in. So we aim to keep the conversation smooth and, of course, respectful. Overall, if you have any technical issues, let me know and I'll do my best to help. That.
I would
And
like to, excuse me, I would like to say something. I sometimes have trouble with my microphone. So if I'm talking later on and you don't hear me well, please give me a sign.
Okay.
Because people tell me afterwards. That doesn't help.
Indeed. Okay.
so I want to thank the Sergeant at Arms for giving us such a clear scope of his work and how he is here to assist us. That is what the Sergeant at Arms typically does. So Sergey's off to a great start with that. So thank you very much, Sergey. As chairperson, I'm sitting on a chair, you're sitting on a chair, everybody's sitting on a chair right now, probably. I would say it's probably a good time to stand up, but actually, I think it's probably what a good time to do is kind of maybe rock a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. Feel that stretch a little bit because I don't know about you, but I've been sitting most of the day. And this is one of the ways that I feel like I can sit for a little bit longer. So whatever chair yoga you practice, I highly recommend you do it now because we are in for a terrific show. Well, terrific meeting. And hopefully maybe a little bit of a show because I looked down the list here and we have 4 speakers tonight. And we have a terrific Toastmaster who I'm going to hand it over to right now. Over to you, Nicholas.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to share something with you that I'm working on right now, and I think that it might be beneficial for you. And I also think that you might help me with that. I think most people here would agree that people in general are more prone to the negative, to perceive the negative experiences of life more clearly. And I think it makes sense from evolutionary perspective. Like we are the problem-solving animals who want to get from point A to point B. It might be anything, might be running the club, the job, your hobby. We want to improve ourselves and think around us. And to do that, we need to solve the problems. So we see the problems. But the problem is when we see them too often and we forget about the good parts. We can see them for a little time. We achieve something and we are happy about that, but it's fleeing. Like it's just for a short time. Like life, like there, nice, be happy for like 7 minutes, and then it's time to resolve the other problems. Chop chop. And yeah, that's the name of the game. And We have a saying in Slovakia. I think it might be very similar in the other countries as well, and that is you don't know what you have until you lose it. And those things might be very simple. I think everyone was thinking about doing the sports or something, or going for a walk when they lie in the bed with the flu, like I'm here, I cannot do nothing now. And yeah, so that might be, I think, a good example that all of us experience, but I think we don't have to scratch very much beneath the surface to provide more of those examples. And yeah, we don't have to go that far, we are in the Ukraine club, so yeah, but I don't want to dwell on that too much. I want to dwell on the other side, because sometimes you meet people that are that train this and that train this, and they are good at this, and there are those people who see your hard work. You try something and you achieve it, and they can see that you tried it and the things are better, and they will congratulate you and point out the things that you did good. And that is no simple thing. But it's quite hard. I don't know whether I'm the only one ungrateful son of a gun here, but yeah, it's hard to see the good for me. And those people who can, those people who can find the beauty in the ordinary, they are quite creatures. I think they carry the world on their shoulders, because it's exactly those type of people that we want to find as the hard life. So I think that is something that we can all learn. Yeah. And everyone who will cross his path with me on this meeting, I will ask a simple question. I give you a heads up because I think it's by nature more difficult. So the question is, what good, beautiful thing was or is in your life that you might have underlooked, that it's invisible? So I think that is something that I wanted to share with you, and I wanted to carry this meeting in this theme. And with that out of the way, let's introduce the roles that will be maybe invisible during the meeting, but their work will come to fruition at the end. So first,
I volunteer to be a counter because Nicholas, I have counted no fewer than 15 uhs and 6 and uhs in the last 2 minutes. You're killing me, man. Get it under control. You are Toastmaster. Get your own controls, your counters under control. I am the counter tonight, and I am tracking you, man. It's nails in my ear. Slow down. Control your uhs. As Toastmaster, that is a #1 job. Thank you.
Roger that. I will try to not say the word that I said 3 seconds ago. Okay, so let's introduce the roles. Lyubov, as you are a timer, explain yourself. What will you do during the meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm a timer today, and I will time all prepared speakers, all table topic speakers, and evaluators. Let me remind you times limits. For prepared speakers, we have 5 till 7 minutes. After 5 minutes, I will show you green background. After 6 minutes, I will show you yellow background, and after 7 minutes, I will show red background. About table topic speakers, we have today a special table topics session. We have full house, 4 speakers. So table topic session will be short, and all speakers will have only 1 minute to during your speech, but I know it's hard, like impossible, but I know it's possible. So you have 1 minute, and after 30 seconds, I will show green background, 45 seconds yellow, and then after 1 minute, red background. About our evaluator, you have no more than 3 minutes, and I also show my different background after 1 minute green, after 2 minutes yellow, and then after 3 minutes red background. I'd like to remind you, when you see red background, please wrap up your speech. You have only 30 seconds. If you will not, I will mute you and pass the floor our Toastmaster of the evening. Also, please, we have 4 speakers, so respect yourself and respect other speakers. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lyubov. I would have the question that I proposed. What good thing in your life you might have overlooked? Something new. Can you share it with us?
I would say for me, it's yoga, because it's when I do yoga, and now I do it every day, I see how it's this process and meditation involve me, and I see much better and feel much better than previous time. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I think any type of movement, especially if we came to enjoy it, is beneficial for our mental health and also for our body. Thank you for that. Okay, next role is the grammarian. So Martina, stage is yours, and tell us what you will do. Oh, we can't hear you. Teras, not yet. Oh, okay. Sorry, that is obvious. So let's continue. So Serhii, you are the Zoom master of the meeting. Explain us your role.
All right, my friends, my technical role today is also Zoom Spotlight, which means I will be making sure that the right person are in focus at the right time. Whenever someone is speaking, I will spotlight them so that everyone can clearly see them on screen. This, of course, helps keep the meeting smooth and engaging for speakers and listeners as well. Again, if you experience any issues with your video or spotlighting, feel free to let me know in the chat. Finally, let's have a great meeting.
Yeah. Thank you, Serhii. So tell us about the invisible thing in your life that you might have overlooked. Good one.
Something about that was overlooked, probably friends, I would say. But something this is a good thing, but invisible, and I love it. It's probably, I mean, the connection between my parents, for example. Yeah. So generally, love. In one word, it is love. Yeah. I really enjoy this for my parents, for God, and so it's invisible, but it's quite important for me.
Yeah, that's definitely great if you are able to have that sort of relationship with your parents and it's taken for granted. Yeah. Thank you, Serhii. Let's continue. So, Dennis, you...
Wait. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So I
Yes.
can do the grammarian. I will do the grammarian today, and I would encourage everyone to use the word of the day, intuition, which means that the feeling is in your gut when you instinctively know that something you are doing is right or wrong. Gut feeling. Intuition. Incorporate it in any kind of your speech, and I will be very happy. I will also try to collect pearls of your grammar, also the black or the white, and try to search for the meaning, if that's the correct or just how I would do it as a non-native speaker. Therefore, this is from my side as a grammarian. And I would, for example, explain you on a Roger that Nicholas used, that this meaning is that the message has been received. So I will focus on the words like this. Thank you. The word is back to you, Nicholas.
Thank you, Martina. Before we move on, tell us what the good thing in your life might have been overlooked.
Hugs. The energy of and the power of a long hugs. That's very important and invisible.
Yeah. Yeah. As a dancer, I can only agree with that. Yeah, so thank you for that. Okay, so Dennis, you have quite strong introduction, and we know your mission during this meeting. So tell us about something good in your life that might have not seen before, which is yours.
I have a strong intuition that the best speakers have a very strong message, unburdened by superfluous sounds. And as far as my happy place, sometimes when I pull on my beard, I feel smarter.
Okay, so thank you for that. And let's continue to the juicy part of this meeting. Today we have 4 speakers, Adam, Alona, Serhi, and Natalia. From Adam, I expect some more science talk when he will tell us about the caffeine. Alona will add some more information how to improve our speech. Besides the other roles in this meeting, so I'm quite interested in that. Serhi, our future CEO, I can see it any other way, will tell us finally about his secrets of motivation and discipline, which I could use. And yeah, I'm quite... yeah, we will see what will happen in Natalia's speech. She will tell us something about happiness. I think it might have something to do with the theme that I've chosen for this meeting. With that, out of in the ether, let's continue. And let's start with our first speaker. Adam, stage is yours.
Thank you, Nicholas. Caffeine, the #1 most consumed drug on the planet. And well, why wouldn't it be? After all, it's amazing. It makes us get in the morning, then power through a difficult task. It even tells our body to digest fat and to lose weight. It gives us enough energy so that we can lift weights more easily or run much farther. I'm sure that every one of you has their own favorite way of ingesting caffeine, be it coffee, black tea, matcha, or even plain old energy drinks. Caffeine is simply fun to ingest. And even zoom out on a humanity scale. Caffeine has allowed us to detach ourselves from the activity of the sun. No longer are we active when the sun is up. We're active when we want to be. Surely, caffeine is a miracle molecule. But how does it actually work? Well, to answer that, you will have to dive deep into the world of molecular mechanics, chemical biology, receptors. But don't worry, I will be there every step of the way, and I will advise you on everything so that you can enjoy it without having a degree in chemistry. Your intuition is enough. So, to understand what actually happens with caffeine, one must first understand what actually happens when we get tired. And for that, I show you the first protagonist of our story, a molecule known as adenosine. So I'll just take a minute for you to get acquainted with the structure. Notice the black spheres, which are carbon atoms, and the blue ones, which are nitrogen atoms. For the sake of this presentation, imagine these blue spheres as the negatively charged ends of a magnet, because in nature, that's pretty much how they behave. Well, you wake up. First of all, you don't have this molecule. Then, as you get through the day, as you exercise, as you work, it slowly starts accumulating. There's more and more of this molecule, adenosine. And then it travels throughout your body. But to actually do something, you have to add another part. And those are receptors. Receptors are these molecules, these are like levers, able to be pulled by only a specific molecule. Well, this adenosine finds its own lever in the brain. It enters it, and since the lever is positively charged, it reacts with these negative ends of the magnet, the nitrogen atoms. It pulls it and tells our brains, oh, we are actually getting more and more tired. After a while, it comes back, but the damage has already been done. It has told our brain, we are tired. The lever has been pulled. So we would probably want to avoid that, no? We probably want to become more alert. I'd like to show you a different molecule, though it's not yet caffeine, but still just notice how it looks. If I were to compare caffeine and adenosine, you can see there's a considerable overlap. These two molecules are barely similar, and that's for a good reason. If you remember, I said that these levers, these receptors, are only designed for their own molecule. So for us to have something which would block this, one needs to have something which looks like the thing we want to block. So let's see what would happen if we used this molecule to react with our lever. Well, it would come, and it still has these negatively charged ends, these nitrogen atoms, and it would get pulled and activated. Still not what we want. To finally nail down how it works, I'll introduce one last character into this play. Look at this. This is a very small molecule. It only has one carbon atom and 3 hydrogen atoms. And if you look at your imagination, you might think that this can somehow resemble an umbrella. And that's exactly what it does. If we were to cover these negatively charged nitrogen atoms, these ends, with a molecular umbrella, something like this, ladies and gentlemen, you will get caffeine. Now let's see what would happen if we use this molecule to react with that lever. Well, it would enter, and the lever, it's still pulled. You can see there are still negative charges here, but they are obstructed. I mean, of course, they can still be accessed. As you can see here, there's still nothing there, but it's still slightly less. So instead, we'll move the lever, but not completely. But the charge is there. The molecule is pulled. And so it's just stuck there, unable to move, and the lever is not being pulled. Well, we still have the adenosine, don't remember. It still accumulates in our bodies, and it still wants to let us know that we're tired. So it wants to travel to that adenosine, but it's blocked. The lever is blocked. It cannot be pulled, and thus it floats away. My fellow Toastmasters, this is how caffeine works. It first resembles the original molecule, but is covered where it should be. Not completely, mind you, just slightly. Slightly enough so that when it enters, the lever attracts it but doesn't fall. This has been the mechanism of how caffeine works. This is what happens every day we take our coffee. Thank you very much. And Nicholas, back to you.
Thank you, Adam. You always find a new way to amaze me with your speech. Firstly, you started to use more gestures from the distance, and now you have like the superb visual presentation. It's like, I can't wait what you will cover next. I enjoyed this very much. Thank you. So for our next speaker, let's move to Aliona. Are you ready?
Yes, thank you.
Well then, go for it.
Thank you, Nicholas. Have you ever been in the middle of important speech and suddenly, you know, those filler words sneak in? It happens to all of us. So please feel free to unmute yourself now and interact with me and share how do you deal with those filler words? What are your secrets? Anybody can share?
Usage of pauses.
Yes. Sorry, could you repeat?
Usage of pauses during a speech. Instead of whenever we are trying to think, if we could just pause for a second and with a speech.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing. So I see that I'm not the only person who struggles with this. And I can share that my boyfriend, probably the most brutally honest person in my life, pointed out on how often I use filler sounds. And once I became aware of it, I realized something. You cannot fix what you don't notice. We often think of mindfulness as something abstract, maybe even spiritual, but in reality, this is really highly practical tool, especially for public speaking. The more aware we are of our words, our body language, our breath, the more control we have over them. Instead of speaking on autopilot, we can make intentional choices. Think about this. When we rush to fill the silence between it's often because we are uncomfortable. Whether we forgot what to say next, or we lost a word in the foreign language, or felt that we are losing the audience attention. But what if, instead of reacting automatically, we simply pause, as Aloysius said? Let's try something. I'll give you now 10-15 seconds to take a moment to notice your breath. Feel the pause between your inhale and exhale. That space, however small, is powerful. So continue, be aware of your breathing. And now let's add another layer. As you breathe, notice the tension in your shoulders. Are they raised? Can you soften them? Another 10 seconds to observe without judgment. This simple act, bringing awareness to your body and breath, is the same skill that can help you reduce filler words or sounds. Instead of feeling silence, you recognize it, you sit with it, and then you continue speaking intentionally. When you become more aware, you don't just remove filler words, you transform your entire experience. Instead of focusing on what you say next, you start noticing the richness of the moment. You hear your own voice with clarity, you see the reactions of your audience more vividly, you feel the weight of your words. Speaking becomes more just delivering information. It becomes experience, both for you and your audience. Observing your emotions, by the way, can be fascinating. I've noticed when I pay attention to my feelings during my speech, I often treat them with a sense of humor. It's really funny to see what triggers them, since sometimes it's smallest, most insignificant things. I realized that fears, insecurities, or even frustration are often not worse at being. This simple realization brings back my self-confidence and allow for a more playful, engaging interaction with my audience. So, how do we bring this awareness into speeches? First, embrace silence. Instead of fearing pauses, feel them, let them add depth into your speech. Second, expand your attention. Notice your breath, your posture, the energy in the room. Be fully present. Observe your feelings, excitement, fear, sensation of losing the ground, even frustration before they overwhelm you. Recognizing them reduces their power and gives you ability to direct and transform them. Third, listen as you speak. Imagine you are in both the speaker and listener positions, and so this creates a richer and more connected delivery. And in the end, I invite you to try something today. After this speech, listen to yourself just once. Catch your filler sound, just one. And when you do, pause, breathe, and keep going. Because the more aware we are, the better we become. And not just a speaker, but in everything we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lona. This self-awareness is very important. The problem is that I always forgot about it, and then I need, someone like you or some experience like this, to remember me, like, oh, I should pause. Yeah, thank you for that.
That's why we need to remind each other about some simple but important things.
Yeah. So, Alona, please now tell us about something good and invisible that you stumbled upon.
So I kept intuition word for this part for your question, because intuition is the one thing that I oversee sometimes a lot of times in my life, and a lot of times it caused me some bad results. So now I trust my intuition more, and I don't try to convince myself that no, it's something ridiculous. You should think about people better. If it's intuition, it means something.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. We should listen to ourselves more, because we might have a better handle on things than we think. Okay, now I did a screw up. I didn't give Adam his time for evaluation. Hopefully he will forgive me in time. And
Nicholas, sorry, we have some problem with the link. Lyubov, can you help me with this? Because I'm sending the link, but it doesn't work. We can't write there. Could you help with it?
It works.
Yes.
For me.
Sorry, I will send all links after each speaker, Adam, and then Alona.
For me, it worked. The link worked.
Yeah. Okay, so for now, so we don't have a link for Alona?
I will send link for Alona.
Okay, so in the time being, please try to, remember your experiences from Adam's speech and use the link that Alona sent before. And Mrs. Timer, please time us 1 minute.
Time. Time is out. Nicholas, stage is yours.
Okay, so now please 1 minute for the Alona as well. Give her your feedback.
Could you please share the link with Adam's evaluation, because I only see Alona's? Thank you.
Okay, time's over, and let's move on to Sergey. Stage is yours.
Oh no, another tough work day ahead. I really don't want to get out of bed. You know what? Probably, yeah, I'll just stay here a little longer, just a few minutes. Everyone do this every morning. No problems. I think it's okay. Sounds familiar. It definitely does to me. It was literally me a few years ago. But looking back now, I can clearly see the gaps in my mindset. If you saw yourself in that situation, that's actually a good thing. Because today, we're going to figure out what truly makes us strong and confident. Motivation, discipline, or maybe we don't need anything at all. When we talk about motivation, we need to acknowledge one simple truth. It is not constant. It will not guarantee you success or the ability to become better. With motivation, you are like a small tree. When the sun, your motivation, shines brightly, you begin to grow. But as soon as the sun sets, you stop. And there are days when the sun just doesn't appear at all, right? So what? Should you just wait, doing nothing? Not exactly. On those days, another force steps in. The water. Water represents discipline. Unlike the sun, it is not simple. It is complex, consistent, and reliable. The challenge with water is that you have to put an effort to obtain it. For a tree, water doesn't just fall from the sky. It has to reach deep into the ground, absorbing as much as possible. But once it does, it doesn't just receive water. It gets minerals, nutrients, and a stronger foundation for survival. People are just like that. When motivation strikes, it brings energy and creates the illusion of invincibility, making them believe they can achieve anything. And for a while, that's true. But after some time, maybe even just a few minutes, feeling fades, they start finding excuses. They give up, and eventually they stop growing. If they're lucky, they will come across a powerful word: discipline. At first, they won't like it. They will think, if I don't see results immediately, it must be useless. Years might pass, and some may never truly understand what discipline is. Maybe, just maybe, they will get tired of being lazy, weak, and unambitious. And when that happens, they will step onto the right path. One thing is crucial to understand. Discipline isn't a path of comfort or bliss. It is a path of struggles and mistakes. It's the effort the tree puts in on sunless days, adapting, searching for a different way to survive and thrive. Another tricky question that I recently asked myself was this. What if I'm just overthinking all of this? Maybe if I stop focusing on motivation and discipline altogether, the work will become easier. Honestly, I haven't found a perfect answer yet, but I'm certain that this approach is highly individual. In this case, my tree analogy isn't as relevant, because tree cannot survive without both the sun and water. Unless, of course, we are talking about very old, experienced tree that has learned to find water naturally. Under these circumstances, the person can also remain productive. If they fully understand the meaning of motivation and discipline, they may not need to focus on them anymore. Instead, they instinctively use these concepts without additional effort. So how can work be done productively? Let's say we have a quite ambitious and difficult task ahead. First, it is necessary to find a source of motivation, absorbing as much energy as possible. Immediately after that, start working. At the moment when the first urge to give up appears, it is very important to switch your mind into the discipline mode. Keep going every day, even if it's just a small steps, but never stop. Finally, I want to share a simple personal rule that can be taken as a guide. Motivation is unstable but powerful. It helps to start. Discipline is constant and unstoppable. It helps to go the distance when motivation disappears. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Sergey. You quite nailed it. Yeah, I've been listening to some podcasts and where these ideas were exposed as well, and yeah, that's great. Yeah, you have a nice future ahead of you with this mindset. Now I would like you to give Sergey evaluation. Timer, please, 1 minute. Okay, time's up. Please, Natalia, tell us something about happiness. Stage is yours.
Thank you, Nicholas. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Are you happy? I'm sure that at least once in your life you heard this question. But have you ever thought seriously and deeply about the answer? Recently, I decided to do a little survey. I asked my relatives, friends, and colleagues whether they were happy or not. Most of them considered themselves happy because their dearest and nearest feel happy, they have a good jobs, their finances are in the black. But does it a true happiness? Maybe it's just a well-being. According to the World Happiest Report, the happiest country in 2024 was Finland. It has landed the top spot of the World Happiest Report for the 7th year in a row. But why is Finland considered the happiest country? The report examines 6 variables in more than 130 countries: GDP per capita, social support, healthy life expectancy, freedom, generosity, and freedom of corruption. These criteria influence directly healthy level, wealth, and general state of the people. But does it mean that the Finns are the happiest people in the world? My intuition says that it's not true. Occupying the top place in the list of the happiest country, Finland has above average level of suicide in Europe. It means that well-being and true happiness are not the same thing. I don't think that most of us understand what does it mean to be truly happy. According to the definitions of happiness, these definitions suggest that happiness are the positive emotions we have, like hope, gratitude, and others. These feelings, these positive feelings, can be temporary experiencing of joy that each person has from time to time, or deep feeling when your life have meaning and purpose. Meaning and purpose. By my opinion, this is the real explanation of happiness. Meaning and purpose gives us the long-lasting sense of stable, positive feeling of happiness. The person who has found the meaning of his life has a chance to be truly happy. Not long ago, I came across a book, Yes to Life in Spite of Everything, by Viktor Frankl. He was an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, and Holocaust survivor. He devoted his life to understanding, studying, and promoting meaning. He said that what man actually needs is not the discharge of tension at any cost, but the call of potential meaning waiting to be fulfilled by him. But how we can find the meaning of our life? Viktor Frankl wrote that we have 3 ways how to find it. Firstly, by creating a work or making a deed. It's quite simple. It's about work, achievements, projects, something like this. Secondly, is by experiencing something or encountering someone. The something, it's about art, music, something that can fulfill your existence. Somebody, it's about true love. True love allows us to see the features and potentialities of the beloved person. It gives us the meaning by making the beloved person to actualize these potentialities. And the third one, it's about our attitude towards their unavoidable suffering. This attitude is about transforming their personal tragedy. It's about finding the spiritual, real spiritual freedom in face of extreme difficulty. If the person finds the meaning of his life, it doesn't matter where he lives, in the happiest country in the world, or in a country in a war. Wherever, whatever level of well-being you have, maybe you are a top manager in a big multinational company or a waiter in a small restaurant. If you live alone or in a big family, you can be happy. I'm happy. I'm happy to have found a true love of my life. I'm happy to have a job and hobbies I really enjoy. I'm happy to be a part of such clever, brave, and unbreakable nation. I'm happy because I think I have found the purpose of my life. What about you? Are you happy? Think about it.
Thank you, Natalia. Your speech brought solace to my soul. Yeah, all those points are very important. So now, seems like you've thought about this a lot, but is there something little that was happy but was not seen before in your life?
Yes, I can tell you that while preparing this speech, I discovered that I'm a terrible wife because I understood that my husband has really true love towards me. He loves me deeply because last might be 5 years I was very busy. I have a job, I have even now speaking club, I have my hobbies, and I was very active, and I am very active. We have 3 kids, and my husband take care about them. He take care about our home, and I was always thinking that, oh, I do so a lot of things. I'm so busy. Why he doesn't understand it? But now I realized that he makes me to actualize my potentialities. He truly loves me. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and I'm happy for you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, please, timer, give us 1 minute, and let's evaluate Natalia. Okay, time is up. Now, let's move into the table topics. Unfortunately, you will have to pay for my organization skills, and the table topics will be shorter, so the whole meeting will end up in a shorter period. And with that, let's cut it to half. So with that, I pass floor to you, Libo.
Thank you, Nicholas. And I will ask Martina assist me as a timer. So follow up for Martina. And all of you experienced member and Toastmasters, just let me remind you general rules about Toast table topic session. I prepare some easy question, and you have only 1 minute to give the response. And but don't forget about introduction, body, and conclusion. And follow up for Martina. She will signal after 30 minutes green, after 45 minutes yellow, and after 1 minute red. So let's start, and I invite in this stage Sergey Radchenko. Would you like to participate?
Yes, of course. I'm ready.
Okay, you're ready. I know you're always ready, and thank you. My question is, if you could master any skill instantly, what would it be? If you could master any skills instantly, what would it be?
Okay. Thank you for your question. I have the master of a lot of different things. I like to create workshops of psychology, of poetry, maybe even when I didn't have a personal camera, but I like to make in the photos. And sometimes sometimes my friend asking me, "Oh, you have like really great photos. You have a professional camera." No, it's my telephone. I like the colors. I like the imagine. I like create imagine, create my intuition, and calm. And suddenly I have some ideas in my heart and in my soul. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Sergey. And let's move on. And I invite Rochelle. Would you like to participate? Okay. What's your favorite way to unwind after a stressful day? What's your favorite way to unwind after a stressful day?
My favorite way to unwind after a stressful day is to watch a TV show here called Blue Bloods. And this show in David laughs because this show was about, it just ended and I'm crushed. So is about a New York City family of police officers, like 3 or 4 generations. But my favorite part, and I say this every time, is at the very end, they all sit down on at the very end of the show, they all sit down on Sunday around the family table for dinner. And they talk, and it's just, I'm sorry, it's so typical to me what the American lifestyle used to look like, where they would all come together on a Sunday, and everybody would come to the table and talk, and everybody was so nice. And it was just perfect. This doesn't really happen so much in American life anymore. I will be very, very honest. But this was the show that calmed my soul and really, really helped me unwind at the end of a long day. Back to you.
Thank you, Rochelle, for sharing with us. And I think it's a great way. And if everyone is asked to have personal show and give us relax. Thank you. And let's move on. Adam, you will be next. And question?
I would love to, but I'm sure that there are people who haven't said anything yet, right? I think Aloysius maybe hasn't said anything. So if you are okay with that, I would be willing to give that place.
I got it. Okay. Alois, would you like to participate?
My network is very, very poor. I don't know if I'm audible.
I hear you. So you would like to participate?
So the disclaimer is my network is very poor, but let me give it a try. I want to try.
Okay. What is one hobby or interest that you've always wanted to explore but haven't yet? What is one hobby or interest you always wanted to explore but haven't yet? Are you with us? No?
There is a movie in Hollywood called as Hobbit. Watching movies lately. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So there is a movie in Hollywood called as Hobbit. Hobbit is such a fantastic fantasy as well as intriguing movie. Once I started watching the movie, I wanted to inculcate a habit of watching movies at least once or twice a week. Movies tend to help us to enhance our imagination. They take us into another world. Language is not a barrier. All we need to understand is the language of the emotions, the soul. I wanted to watch one movie of different language per week. For example, let's say I want to watch a Ukrainian movie this week.
Aloysius, I have to cut you here.
Hello.
We are off the schedule, and yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, so we have to continue. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Nicholas, can I have last question for our guest, Vitaly? I prepared a special question for you, Vitaly. Are you with us? And you are ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is the most spontaneous things you've ever done? What is the most spontaneous things you have ever done? Stage is yours.
Thank you for such question. But it's truly hard to remember something like this. But I can say that the most spontaneous thing is in terms of the influencing of my life was that after I was working more than 10 years on a perfect great job in one city, I decided like this to change it, to move to another city with my family, to another job, which I later hated, and everything went like absolutely like hell after this spontaneous stuff, because it was kind of spontaneous decision, I think, but eventually, it led me to good things like this. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Vitaly. Unfortunately, we don't have much time to continue our table topic session, and I pass the floor our Toastmaster of the evening, Nicholas. Nicholas, stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Libo. Let's move to another part. We will now ask our general evaluator, Alexandra, for the evaluation, and my intuition tells me that I will not come unscathed from her evaluation. Far from it. So now with that, I pass the floor to you, Alexandra.
Thank you so much. I had an intuition that made me say yes to coming to this meeting and helping out once more. This intuition said to me, you are going to hear some fantastic things. You're going to smile, you're going to laugh. And my intuition was completely correct. I am the general evaluator, so I will introduce my team, which consists of 4 evaluators that evaluate each one speaker. The grammarian, who's Martina. The all-counter, self-named, is Dennis. And then the timer is Lyubov. And I will give a general evaluation of the meeting itself at the end. I would like you to please put your hands together and welcome Rochelle, who's going to evaluate Adam's speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and welcome guests. This was an incredibly amazing, crazy, fantastic speech that Adam gave for us today. When you're evaluating, it's nice to make contact in advance. And I asked Adam specifically what he might be looking for. And he said, I'm talking about molecular mechanisms. Can he make it so that we could understand it? Now, could you do me a favor? Would you give me a thumbs up if you understood the caffeine molecular connection in our bodies? Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's all right. I just want, my intuition was telling me we were like half and half. So I was going, okay. First, what he did super well is he had a very, very strong opening, super strong opening. Caffeine, the most consumed drink on the planet. I was all ears because I just finished my coffee. So. Next, what he did super well was this use of prompts. I've never seen anything like it. And I loved these prompts. It was so well done. Not only was it so well done, but it didn't get lost in the Zoom screen at all. It was just perfect. And then lastly was his great use of camera. Adam is excellent at standing and giving a speech, but then also coming in what I always say very intimately close to the camera, showing us here's my molecules, and then pulling it apart or bringing the other one in. So he demonstrates an incredible understanding of how to use the camera, whether he's from a standing position or he comes close on in. Now, because he's a more advanced speaker, I'd like to just offer some suggestions, but also put these suggestions for the club as a whole. First of all, I think the club has done super well today, really, really well done. One of the reasons I love coming to this club is it's an international audience, right? We have the United States, Sweden, UAE, Ukraine, Slovakia, all present here today. When you come on here, not only are you learning to do a speech and speak, practicing your English, but you have the incredible opportunity to speak to an international audience. So when you're using difficult words, well, to me, they were a little difficult. Adenosine, is that how I say it, Adam? Adenosine. Yeah.
Adenosine.
Okay. Adenosine. And if you're working with an international audience, my recommendation, and this is taking it up to the next level there, is either the PowerPoint, if you were giving it live, which we're not, or you have someone pop it into the chat that just at least puts the word out there. So and somebody else can do it. Like, okay, hey, Rochelle, pop this word into the chat when I use this word, because even my English ears didn't quite understand it. The other suggestion I would have is that it was such a great topic, but in 7 minutes, it was still a little thick. So maybe just taking it down a little bit. So if any of you that either you had more time to give it an 8 to 10, or just bring it a little bit less. But since I don't know science, I'm not sure how to guide you on that. But as an international audience, this is such a great opportunity to really truly work the skills so that your audience understands exactly what you're trying to get across, and then bang, you have caffeine. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. You obviously listened to everything Adam said. I really like that you took the time ahead of time and asked him what he wanted you to listen and look for. You started with the good points, and you then came to some challenge. I challenge you, or you could maybe do, and so on, and ended with something positive. Very, very good evaluation. Thank you so much. Our next evaluator is Vitaly, who is evaluating Alona's speech. Welcome, Vitaly.
Thank you. Thank you. Alona gave a speech with a clear purpose to show how awareness of breath, emotions, and reactions can help people become better public speakers. She wanted to help the audience to reduce filler words and gain confidence. She did it well. What was good, by the way? Alona started with a question, which was a great way to involve the audience. And right from the beginning, she made sure that we were part of this speech. So she also included breathing exercises, which made the speech even more interactive, I would say. Everyone could participate, and it helped us understand her message better. Her speech was clear, interesting, useful. She used gestures. Also, Alena appeared confident, which is very important for a speaker. And she seemed comfortable with her topic and shared it with the way it was easy to understand. What can be improved? One thing that can be better is eye contact. It was clear that that Alena was reading her speech, and that made it harder to fully connect with the audience. To improve this, Alena could try placing the text in a small window right above the camera, so she can look at this little window without moving the eyes too much. And also, it would be useful to memorize part of the speech, so she does not need to read everything. Another thing to improve is movement. Movement while sitting, because I noticed that Alena moved too much back and forth in her chair, which is a little bit distracting. It is usually better to stand while speaking, because the audience can see the speaker more clearly. But if sitting, it is important to stay maybe more steady and make sure the gestures are visible. So the distance from the camera should be a bit longer than it was. But in general, this was a very strong and effective speech. It was well organized, engaging, useful for the audience. The message was clear. Alena definitely achieved her goal. So a little bit better eye contact and movement, and this would be even better. Great job. Looking forward for Alena's next speech. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Vitaly. Here is another very good listener. That is, in my opinion, one of the hardest things to do, is to listen well enough to be able to give good evaluations. For those that don't know, evaluations are personal. So this is very good to know. I like the way you gave ideas for improvement, and you also said how Alena could do it. And I think that's very important. Very well done. Thank you. Our third evaluator is Serhiy, who is Sergey, who is evaluating Serhiy. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Alexandra. Hello, dear audience. Hello, dear fellow Toastmasters. Serhiy gives feedback to Serhiy. It's very, very interesting. And Serhiy, you have a very good and very effective speech about motivation, about discipline, and your project about give us the speech with purpose. And you give us the speech with persuasion, or persuade of the audience. And what is your good points? You had a good background, and you are standing when you're giving a speech. Also, you have had a good structure. You had a good, powerful start of the speech, where you're playing with your voice. When you start with a simple situation, you had various gestures in the different levels. You had capacities, metaphors, sound, tree, water, minerals, three ways, discipline, motivation, or without them, world it will become either struggle and mistakes. I want to share a simple rule, and what I advise you to work. Try to add your personal story, because sometimes it seems what you use a lot of information from Wikipedia without any emotions, any feelings. Try to add some questions for you. What is more effective for you? How do you implement them? How do they affect you, the discipline and motivation? And try to use some add some humor and jokes. It works. It's good for you. And also about me, I sometimes I live without discipline, but motivation is very powerful. And sometimes I think it's very motivational for me use the discipline. And also, yes, it also you have a good structure. And before you give us your final speech, you said one and so on, but without a second. Try to use 1, 2, 3, or that use 1, 2, 3. And when you finish your speech, try to add some your conclusion, your thoughts, really your thoughts. Why you start to talking about motivation? Why do you start to talk about discipline? And what do you mean about what they play? Motivation and discipline played the roles in your life. It is really important. And add some examples to usage in your life. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Sergey. You gave very good examples of what you thought, which you felt was good. And I thank you for that. There are not many people that actually evaluate emotions. I usually do, and I really like that, to get the importance of emotions out to the people. During evaluations, you are not supposed to mention yourself, so concentrate completely on the speaker instead. Otherwise, thank you for very good evaluation. We have one more evaluator, it's Dennis, and he is going to evaluate Natalia. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you, Alexandra. And I would like to demonstrate something that Sergey did, which all of us, if we are practicing our physical selves on the camera, we must remember that we have the option, sometimes we have the option to step back and present ourselves while standing up. And Sergey did that. And if we're practicing our gestures, then I personally think that it's important to show how you can embrace your audience by showing more of your gestures, the body itself. Now, that being said, Natalia did a great job of using hand gestures, but very close to the screen. She was doing this, she was doing that, and I think she did a great job of counting off all of the things and trying to bring us together as an audience. Now, because this is so awkward on the camera, it's hard to convey how important it is to do. And I'm gonna mention again, Sergey stood up and demonstrated he gave his speech showing all of his gestures. And when you have the option of playing with the camera, it gives the audience something new to consider. How important is this one point when you get close to the camera? These are the kinds of gestures that you can use to show the audience that you are engaged with them. It gets their attention. So be mindful of how the camera can change your speech. That being said, my question, the question you asked at the end was, are you happy? And I have to say, yes, I am. Thank you. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator, and thank you again, Natalia.
Thank you, Dennis. I would like you to sign up to be the General Evaluator next time, because you were doing the General Evaluator for about 15 seconds, which you lost because of the time. I shouldn't start with something like this, but I do it anyway. You lost about 15 seconds talking about Sergei, what he did on his speech. You are supposed to only talk about what Natalia did or did not, what could have been improved, and so on and so forth, and not anything else. Something for you to think about. You did listen. You watched her, obviously. You had some suggestions on how she could do things better. And I think that's important because if the standing can really make a big difference. And if you, like you showed. So something to think about, but thank you so much for giving Natalia your evaluation. The next person on this will be Martina, who was the grammarian, who is the grammarian. Please give us a general report. How did we do on the grammar and the words?
Oh, thank you very much. From the grammarian point of view, I have heard some words that really caught my attention. That I was really searching for, like, how does it sound in English? So maybe I'm not correct. If native speakers can correct me, if my answer is different, please correct me. I have heard, let's move into table topics. I think that might be let's move to table topics because we can't move into them. They are not tangible. I was also told that I have told it wrong, but explain to you is the correct version, which Dennis pointed, and thank you for that. It's also my mistake. What was really interesting, I have heard, if I were to compare caffeine and dancing. I was looking for if that's caffeine to dancing. So I'm not really sure if the connection and is appropriate, Dennis or Rochelle. What can you say about us? If I were to compare caffeine and dancing, and is correct, or it should be two.
I'm gonna let Dennis answer that one because I think I would say you could use either, but I'll put it to Dennis.
I concur with Rachel.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know who Rachel is, but that's okay.
Okay, so we skip this one. But
I'm so sorry, Rochelle. I'm so sorry, Rochelle. Sorry.
Then, okay, I go to another one. They will step onto the right path. There is step in the right direction, get on the right path. Another one was beautiful. Their finances are in the black. They're profitable. Another mistake, kind of find meaning in a life. I was searching and I only found meaning, the meaning in life, but not meaning of our life. So meaning in life. And the last one is we were part of the speech. We cannot be part of the speech because, for example, dance or the movement can be part of the speech, the singing, but not us. We can be involved, we can be connected or connect with the audience in the speech, but not humans are not part of the speech. Therefore, these are the hints from the grammarian, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Martina. Lyubov, you wrote the times for the different parts. You wrote them in the chat. Do you want to give them again in case somebody did not look at this chat? Or is it okay with the times you wrote in the chat? Or do you want them again? Nobody wants them again? Okay. Thank you so much for your work with this, and thank you for the table topics. This whole speech, this whole meeting was I learned a lot. Let's put it this way. It was very interesting for me. I had no idea about, not much idea about molecules and this. Different ways to get to be happy, different ways of doing this and different ways of doing that. You can take all the information that you get and make it your own or not, depending on how you feel. But I think I could see that everyone was listening, and people were nodding and people were shaking their head. And that's what I love about this meeting. It gives me something to think about the whole time, every single speaker and the evaluators and the table topics. Everything was very important at this meeting. I really want to thank you for inviting me to this meeting. And I'll probably be back sometime. But I'm already a member of 4 clubs, so I don't think I will join another one. But thank you so much for having me. Back to who?
Nicholas, you're muted.
Who's muted?
Yeah, me.
Okay.
Sorry for that. Yeah, what more can be said? I really enjoyed this meeting. For me personally, in my memory, this meeting will stand out for me. I don't know whether that is mean to say, but I was very engaged by the speeches as well, and they were very well done. I feel like the speakers improved very much, and that change is noticeable. And I'm very happy for them and proud of them that they are improving at such a rapid speed. So yeah, you are better than you were at the start, and I would like to congratulate you for that. With that, I would like to move to the last part of this meeting and pass the floor to the chairperson sitting in the chair with a very nice beard to end this meeting. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been graced this evening by a bevy of people who have followed their intuition to pursue their better self, to try and find their happy self, maybe with a little bit of caffeine, who knows? Maybe they're trying to control their crutch words as they go forward in their lives. And maybe we are blessed with all of the things that could make us happy. What makes us happy? We have the power ourselves to make ourselves happy, with or without a beard. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank everyone who helped organize this meeting, because everything behind what happened tonight required enormous amount of energy. I want to give a big thanks out to all those people, because it didn't happen without them. I want to thank you all, and I want to thank our Toastmaster. I want to thank our president, and I want to thank all of our guests from wherever you are sitting in your chair. You are awesome. Thank you.